Hi, my name is Wolf Girl, aka Brit, and today we're gonna play some more Wizard's Choice. Let me see if I can find the game here. I have so many. Right here. So we're still on the Wizard's Choice Part 1.
The sound seems to be coming from this very room. Over to the other end of the dining hall and see a young woman sitting on the ground, chained to a fireplace, rocking back and forth and sobbing. Reginald was right. The cries break off and she looks up at you with an expression of fear that quickly turns to surprise. "Who are you?" she asks. You tell her your name and that you are here to smite evil while making your fortunes. This brings a smile to her face. A pretty smile, you suspect, although it is hard to tell under all the dirt smudged on her face. She gives her name as Sybil and says there is a key to her chains on the table. Sure enough, beside cracked and dusty china is a small brass key. As you set about unlocking her, she tells you that she is the daughter of a merchant who was traveling with their trade caravan when it was attacked by a mighty ogre with a small band of priests of an evil god wearing dark cloaks. Those of her party not killed in the initial attack were taken prisoner and chained up in this room. One by one, they were taken away by the priests, never to return. "They took my father," Sybil sniffs. "No doubt he is slain, but I must try to find him. Will you help me?" she asks. You ask her if she has any idea where her father or the others might be, but she knows little of the rest of the castle. Reginald takes you aside and says, "Ought we to take her to safety and then look for her father on our own? She would be in danger traveling with us." You agree that having some half-starved, unarmed daughter of a merchant tripping along behind you will only get her killed. But where is safety? Last time you checked, the courtyard was crawling with goblins, and according to her, the castle residents are not very good hosts. What do you do? 1. Escort her out. 2. Hide her and move on. 3. Send her on her way. 4. Chain her back up for now. We will find your father if he lives. However, you must look after yourself. You are free. Escape as best you can and make your way to the safety of Ring City. God's willing, we will join you soon enough, you say to the red-eyed, sniffling girl. With a frightened look, she gets up and walks stiffly away. You stop her and give her a candle, which will hopefully give her enough light to see without serving as a lighthouse beacon to the other designants of this castle. "Are you sure? I am not confident she will survive," Reginald whispers to you as Sybil leaves the room. "We seek treasure and glory. She stands even less chance in our company. Perhaps by going our separate ways, we will lead the designants of the castle away from her," you say. "Or she will lead them away from us." "There is that too," you answer with a wry smile. "Now let us find some treasure, shall we? Ale and fast horses are expensive." The castle is quiet and dark. You walk into a wide hallway that branches in 2 directions. One direction is covered in a thick layer of dust, while the other is covered in footprints. You decide that it would be wise to get a lay of the land before looking for any trouble. Despite the faint smell of rotting flesh from the dusty hall, you decide it would be wise to go this way first. Less monsters, more treasure. Or at least, you hope. You have kept your lantern hooded, only allowing slivers of light out. After all, you want to remain stealthy. The way is dim, however, and you find yourself tripping over rubble and the odd piece of furniture. There might be something far worse ahead of you to run into. Too bad you cannot see in the dark like a goblin. Do you? 1. Keep the lantern hooded. 2. Unhood the lantern. Since you appear to be entering a vacant part of the castle, you expect your light will not attract enemy attention, and so you unhood your lantern to see your way clearly. As you move along, the cobwebs thicken and thicken. "Spider!" Reginald yelps. He points his sword up at the ceiling. There is an enormous hairy spider suspended by a mass of yarn-thick webs. The webs are dotted with small silky cocoons you suspect might encase rats or other small prey. With trembling fingers, Reginald sheathes his sword and unslings his bow. He takes in a big breath as he fits an arrow, draws back the string, and fires. The spider flails its long legs for a moment and then drops out of the web onto the floor with a thud. The two of you move on, taking extra care to watch the ceiling. Eventually, the two of you make your way to a spiral staircase going up. "The upper regions of foul places like this are safer than the lower levels," says Reginald. "Why in the name of all the gods would that be?" you say. Reginald shrugs. "Do not ask me what is in the mind of fiends and evil-hearted beasts. Perhaps they prefer the darkness and stagnant air below ground." You look up at the stairway and sigh. "Well, perhaps we can get a view of the courtyard from up there. I would like to know just how far the goblins lurk out there." Reginald leads the way up the stairs, which lead into a small tower. Moonlight filters in through the cracks between and around two shuttered windows. This room is finely furnished, and otherwise much more nicely kept than the rest of the castle you have visited so far. There is a small bed, still made, on one end, an ornate table, and a bookshelf. On the table is an open fairy tale book and a gold-embossed hand mirror. Seeing loot, you forget about the windows and the potential view of the courtyard. You pick up the mirror and inspect it. Gazing at your reflection, you decide you look pretty good, all things considered. You brush cobwebs from your wavy brown hair. You smile. You are happy to see that your teeth are looking particularly good. Of course, you deserve nice teeth, since unlike most people you know, you take care of them. Every morning you wipe your teeth with a cloth dipped into a cleaning concoction consisting of vinegar, salt, a little sand, and a small measure of your own urine.
Ew.
You are about to pull yourself away from the mirror and put it in your backpack when you glimpse a translucent skull with thin, wispy hair just behind you in the reflection. You spin around and see not a skull, but a young girl floating a few feet in the air, her pale face fixed on you. Reginald sees her too, as evidenced by him running down the stairway. "How dare you touch what is mine?" the ghostly girl shouts. You back up and reflexively put the mirror back on the table. You have heard tales of powerful ghosts that can suck the life right out of you, and wonder if this girl is one of those. What do you do? 1. Run for the stairs. 2. Protection from evil spell. Requires 2 mana. 3. Apologize.
Let's apologize.
I apologize, my lady, you say. It is only that this is such a fine mirror, and I wished to admire it. She glares at you for a moment, and then the hard expression on her translucent face softens. "I am the Duchess Inverness. My father, the Duke, gave me that as a gift." You have heard stories of Duke Inverness and the mysterious circumstances around the demise of his daughter. Despite your fear, you feel a pang of sadness for his daughter, who now shimmers before you, trapped in this world. "And these books, why, they look like excellent stories in here," you stammer. "Read that one to me," the girl commands. "Of course, my lady," you answer. Luckily for you, as a wizard, you know how to read. You pick up the book of fairy tales from the desk and begin on the first page. She stops you and demands that you read her the story about the unicorn. With trembling hands, you page through the book. Eventually, you find this story and begin reading. The ghost floats up behind you as though to peer down at the pictures. You feel a slight chill on your shoulder. Sometime later, You look up from her book and see Reginald peeking around the corner of the stairway at you. You shake your head slightly at him and then return your attention to the book. In the story, the unicorn taps her hoof against a wall in a castle, and a secret passage opens up. As you read this, the little ghost girl smiles and says, "There is a secret passage in this castle as well. It is a foul place, a place where people are taken, never to return." "Where is this secret passage you speak of?" you ask. "In my father's library, there is a statue. Push the arm of the statue down," she explains. You are intrigued by this and wish to ask her more, but she points at the book impatiently, and so you get back to it. Upon finishing the story, the girl demands you read her another. You wonder how long she might keep this up. Time means nothing to her, after all. You would like to get back to Reginald, and what about the merchants? Rescuing a merchant might mean a fine reward, and there is Sivir herself, of course. You would like to find her before something else does. What do you do? 1. Read another story. 2. Attempt to excuse yourself. 3. Run for the stairs.
Let's attempt.
Beautiful and gracious Duchess, might I ask your full name? You ask. Gabriella, Duchess Gabriella of Inverness, she answers. My lady, you bow. I beg your pardon, but there is a young woman in the castle below who requires my assistance. There are evil men. I suspect they may threaten her life. A maiden in distress? Why do you dally here, then? Begone! You need no further encouragement. You step lightly toward the door. Wait! Her voice chills you now, but you unwillingly turn back. Take this, she says, and the gold-trimmed mirror floats off of the table over to you. I cannot see myself in it anymore, she says softly. You earned 50 gold pieces. Generosity befitting a duchess, I thank you most humbly. You bow low and then leave. You find Reginald around the corner of the stairs, his sword at the ready. He begins asking you questions, but you put up your hand. Another time, you say. The two of you continue through the castle. Occasionally you hear distant things. A shout, a crash, even voices. Soon you come to a door with light streaming out through its cracks. You open it ever so slightly and peek in. You see a cloaked figure frantically pacing back and forth. You cannot see his face, but his hands appear to be human. You catch glimpses of his naked torso under the cloak.
The priest.
It is black with tattoos, and you think you make out at least one of the tattoos to be the symbol of Nerul, god of the undead. This reminds you of the tattooed body of a man hung in the city square only a month ago. He was believed to be an evil priest of Nerul, and was accused of terrible crimes, including raising zombies. Such priests are able to harvest power from their deities and cast dangerous spells. However, you have the element of surprise. What do you do? 1. Attack with spells. Requires 2 mana. 2. Attack without spells. 3. Cast charm spell on him. Requires 3 mana. 4. Spy for a bit. You have 12 mana. You nod to Reginald, and the two of you burst into the room. Your quarry appears young, although his face is scarred. He looks at you with the expression of a man who is presently soiling himself. He ducks back as Reginald swings his sword, but not fast enough. The blade slashes his shoulder. He tries to run, chanting something that you recognize as the beginning of a spell. You strike him in the back with a bolt of flame that engulfs his cloak in fire. The priest screams and thrashes just before Reginald cuts him down with one great cleave. Perhaps now that I reflect upon this, we should have tried to keep him alive. We still know not the fate of the rest of the caravan, you say with a frown. In battle there is no time for regret, and not a scratch on us this time. I call that victory, declares Reginald. Now that you are in the room, you can see that you are in living quarters. There is a bed near the wall and a good-sized chest in the corner. Treasure, you think, as you run over and try to lift the lid. Locked. That Nerulian priest did not die quietly, so perhaps you should have Reginald smash the lid with his sword and then get out of here. On the other hand, there ought to be a key around somewhere. Maybe you should take a few seconds to check. What do you do? 1. Break the chest. 2. Search around a bit. Reginald brings his sword crashing down on top of the chest. The wood splinters, and with a few more whacks, you pry the top off. Inside is a bag full of gold pieces, a small black-bound writing book, and what appears to have been some platinum-engraved china that is now smashed. You earned 30 gold pieces. Leaving the broken china, you gather up the loot and hurry out of the room. The two of you have only taken a few steps into the dark hallway when you see flickering light up ahead and hear the scuffing of feet. You could run back into the room and hide, prepare a firebolt to cast down the hall, or cast an illusion to distract whoever is coming. What do you do? 1. Hide back in the room. Hide, you whisper to Reginald as you run back into the room and dive behind the bed. Meanwhile, Reginald presses himself against the wall, behind the open door. It seems like you have been in your hiding place for only a few seconds when you hear hurried footsteps in the room. "Beldak, he is slain!" you hear a tweedy voice say. "Burned and slashed by the look of it." "And his chest pillaged," you hear another voice say, this one close by. You imagine whoever it is glaring down at the empty treasure chest on the other side of the bed. You know there are at least 2 men out there. What do you do? 1. Attack with spells. Requires 4 mana. 2. Attack with dagger. 3. Peek over bed. You have 10 mana. Sneak peek choice. You stay still for a few seconds, and then you cannot help yourself. You decide to sneak a peek. You crane your head around the corner of the bed. One cloaked figure stands near the treasure chest, his back to you, and the other stares down at the body. You see a sword emerging out from behind the door. It appears Reginald is going to start the fight, with or without you. You must act. 1. Charm 1. Requires 3 mana. 2. Use a firebolt. Requires 2 mana. 3. Distract with an illusion. Requires 3 mana. 4. Attack with dagger. You leap up from behind the bed with your dagger drawn. The nearest Nerulian priest gasps in surprise. You hear "Slay" from the other priests, and you dodge, but not fast enough. Painful cold radiates out from where you were struck by his dark magic. Oh! You lost 2 life. You have 8 life. You jump up onto the bed and launch yourself at the nearest priest, who shrieks as you stab him over and over. Meanwhile, Reginald has made quick work of the other one with his long sword. You take the time to search the bodies and find golden unholy symbol medallions on each of them, as well as 1 fine silver dagger. Not bad for 20 seconds of work. You earned 60 gold pieces. I tire of looting corpses. Let us be off to find the merchants, and by them, a glorious reward, you exclaim. Off you go deeper into the castle. Soon you find yourself in a library. However, all the books are gone from the tall wooden shelves, either stolen or destroyed. As a wizard, this is disappointing to you. All castle libraries have secret doors, you announce. After searching for a little while, you notice a small statue of a winged boy reading a book, worked into the stone wall. You press on the arm of the statue, and it shifts down. There is a grinding sound, and you see the bookshelf nearby crack open from the wall. You wedge your fingers into the gap and pry open the door. Immediately before you, stairs descending into the darkness. Dear listener, normally I would give you a choice whether or not you go down the stairs, but really, who finds a secret door and chooses not to investigate? And so, with lantern in hand, you descend a few steps and then listen. It is deadly quiet down here, and chilly. You urge Reginald to take the lead. After all, he is wearing the armor. There is a small metal lever on the inside of the passage that you suppose is what you use to open the door from the inside. Nevertheless, you decide to leave the door open. The last thing you need is to get trapped in this evil-smelling place. It is some time before you finally reach a small, empty chamber. On the far wall is a large iron door. Scrawled over the door in rusty red dye, or more likely, dried blood, is a set of elaborate symbols. "Gods, what is that?" says Reginald, playing the lantern light over the symbols. "It is writing in the infernal tongue," you say, "a language of devils, demons, and other beasts that inhabit the nightmare universes." "At times, I do not envy your knowledge," says Reginald with a faint shudder. "The study of magic leads to many dark places," you say. "The trick is to not wander too far into the void." "What does it say?" asks Reginald in a tone that is not at all enthusiastic or curious. You study the symbols. They are crudely drawn, as though in haste, perhaps scrawled by bloody fingers. I cannot be sure. I believe it is a ward of some sort, a protection spell. "A protective spell using such a foul language?" Reginald sniffs. "I would expect a curse or a fiendish summoning." "It is protection against such a summoning. A barrier," you say. "Evil knows evil best, and a spellcaster of black magic understands the need to protect himself from the terrors they bring into this world." Reginald grimaces and points the tip of his sword at the warded door. "Only a fool would go down there. Although I am more a man of curiosity than wisdom." You slap his shoulder, making a dull sound against his breastplate, as you have proven time and again. What do you want to do? 1. Open the door. 2. Leave.
Well, everyone, we'll figure that out next time. Whether or not we should go down to the scary door, or whether we should just turn and leave and let our curiosity not get the best of us. I have a feeling I know which one I'm going to choose, but I hope you guys will stay tuned for the next one. If you like the video, please feel free to let me know. And subscribe if you haven't already, if you feel the need to. And I will talk to you guys in the near future. Bye.